Hi, welcome back to Business in View. I am excited. Last week we left off talking about the differentiating factor. You know, we are in a difficult situation, a road we've never crossed before, and so therefore we're trying to figure out what's our next move and what differentiates us from the other person. One individual from another, one business from another. And I told you we're going to develop that some more. And we're going to look at that in a closer detail. Because we know we have all these different manuals that we read and all the templates that we use, but yet we don't know what is our next move. You know, I told you the first thing you have to do is go back to the source because we don't have the answer. There's nobody that we can actually refer to and figure out how do we handle the situation because no one has been to this road before. So I looked at Proverbs 10:4. Remember, I told you I don't want to make this a religious thing, but 10:4 even in the police code means okay. So the 10:4 we have here today, it says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. So that is saying to differentiate yourself, you have to be diligent. To differentiate yourself, you have to press in there. Remember, we're referring to the manual, which has the answers because God has been around forever. He's eternal. So we're going to take his precepts. We're going to take his manual and use it to figure out how to get out of this storm, how to ride this wave. So to differentiate yourself is to turn to the source. To differentiate yourself is to be diligent according to Proverbs 10:4. So we're going to be diligent. And how are we going to be diligent? If your mind is not positioned to be diligent, I could talk, as the people say, till the cows come home and you still will not get it. So that's why many times I refer to your mind, where your mind conditions your next thought, your mind conditions your responses. And so therefore I always refer to different books, and this book, The Biology of Belief, I'm telling you every time I want you to read some more, and the different books that I present to you actually have helped me throughout my time here. And Bruce H. Lipton, PhD, The Biology of Belief, this book is absolutely phenomenal and it's a must read. And so he was talking about what happens to our mind. And many times we think, yes, we are products of our environment, and we think that environment is only after we leave the womb. But it's actually saying that what happens to us actually starts from within the womb. And so it says on page one, actually page 125, the conscious parenting, parents and genetic engineers. And I just would read from page 126 where it says, and that influence, we're talking about the influence of our parents, starts, says Verney, not after children are born, but before children are born. When Verney first posited the notion that the influence of parents extends even to the womb in his landmark 1984 book, The Secret Life of the Unborn Child, the scientific evidence was preliminary and the experts skeptical because scientists used to think that the human brain did not become functional until after birth. It was assumed that fetuses and infants had no memory and felt no pain. After all, noted Freud, who coined the term infantile amnesia, most people do not remember anything that happened to them before they were 3 or 4 years old. This is actually throwing the thought process where you're thinking that you have to that the condition of the mind starts when you come out of the womb. So I'm actually here to tell you, no, it starts from within the womb. So as adults now, and we want to continue a legacy and differentiate ourselves and our seed throughout the earth, we have to start from within the womb, when the child was in the womb, and speak to that child. And last week we looked at Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he talked about how the dad influenced and how you're trained well. If you're trained well, then you have the ability to make wealth. So what differentiates one person from the other? What they listen to, what they read, who they are around, who are their influencers. And we have many influencers on social media now. Many people are influencing and talking all kinds of things that actually are not building up. I'm not here to pull anybody down, but there's some great people on social media. So I'm just making a point here that to influence, we must have the source of the influence, which is the word of God. So the 1040, okay, for us to differentiate ourselves, we have to be diligent. We have to cause our minds and do things on a repeated basis. You have to be people of habit. And I gave you that book already, the power of habit. We must be people of habit. So the habit habit we're going to do today to differentiate ourselves is to be diligent, according to Proverbs 10:4. Let's not have a slack hand, and then we're going to figure out how we're going to operate in an online environment which we've never operated totally before. And that calls for us to retooling, relearning, and reposition ourselves. And we can do it. So we're going to talk some more of how we develop the differentiating factor, how we become different in a world where everything itself is totally different and we have no template to follow. And remember, you can do it if you follow the true influencer, the true one who has the influence, who has all knowledge. You can do it. So remember, Business in View is here for you as we communicate, as we connect, as we converse, and become creative. Share the video. Until next time, remember, we can do it together. Shalom.